wizard obsessed with clocks. Maybe he's like a clockmaker or something?
Think you cracked the case, Steve?
The fourth season of Stranger Things was officially announced on September 30th, 2019. Unlike earlier seasons, Season 4 was released in 2 parts. The first volume, consisting of 7 episodes, premiered on Netflix on May 27th, 2022, while the final 2 episodes were released on July 1st, 2022. Season 4 is set in March 1986, 8 months after the destruction of Starcourt Mall. For the first time, the story extends far beyond Hawkins, following events across Hawkins, California, Nevada, Alaska, and Russia. Several new characters are introduced, including Eddie Munson, the outspoken leader of the Hellfire Club, Argyle, a pizza delivery driver, basketball players Jason Carver and Patrick McKinney, Vicky, Robin's love interest, prison guard Dmitry Antonov, smuggler Yuri Izmailov, cheerleader Chrissy Cunningham, student journalist Fred Benson, and U.S. Army Commander Lieutenant Colonel Jack Sullivan. Murray Bowman is promoted to the main cast, while Susie Bingham appears as a recurring character. 8 months after the devastation of the Battle of Starcourt, Hawkins is still recovering. For the first time, the group of friends is separated, and adjusting to high school life only adds to their struggles. During this vulnerable period, a terrifying new supernatural threat emerges, creating a gruesome mystery that could finally bring an end to the horrors of the Upside Down. September 8, 1979, Hawkins National Laboratory Dr. Brenner is experimenting on test subject 010 when a mysterious event kills nearly all of the children at the lab, leaving 11 as the only survivor. Fast forward to the year 1986. 8 months after Starcourt, Joyce, Will, Jonathan, and 11 move to Lenora Hills, California. 11 struggles with the loss of her powers and becomes a target for bullying at her new school. Meanwhile, Jonathan and Nancy separately discuss the strain of their long-distance relationship. Jonathan with Argyle and Nancy with fellow reporter Fred Benson. Joyce receives a porcelain doll that appears to have come from Russia. Following Murray's advice, she breaks it open and discovers a hidden message revealing that Hopper is alive. In Hawkins, Mike and Dustin join the Hellfire Club, a Dungeons & Dragons group led by Eddie Munson, causing them to miss Lucas's championship basketball game. Max, who has recently broken up with Lucas, isolates herself while struggling with grief over Billy's death. Steve and Robin work at Family Video, often discussing relationships and Robin's feelings for Vicky. Chrissy Cunningham, a cheerleader, begins experiencing disturbing visions involving her mother and a grandfather clock. While meeting Eddie to buy drugs, she becomes possessed by a humanoid creature and is brutally killed. A flashback reveals that Hopper survived the explosion beneath Starcourt Mall, but was captured by Soviet forces and sent to a brutal prison camp in Kamchatka. Joyce and Murray make contact with a prison guard known as Enzo, later revealed to be Dmitry Antonov, whom Hopper has bribed in hopes of escaping. Mike travels to California to visit 11, and witnesses her being humiliated by bullies at a roller rink. After being pushed too far, 11 attacks Angela with a roller skate. In Hawkins, Max tells Dustin that she saw Eddie flee the scene of Chrissy's death. With help from Steve and Robin, they locate Eddie and explain the existence of the Upside Down to him. Eddie and Dustin give the killer a name, Vecna. Nancy and Fred investigate Chrissy's death and learn about Victor Creel, a man institutionalized after the murder of his family in 1959. Fred is later lured into the woods by visions of his past mistakes and is killed by Vecna. Lieutenant Colonel Jack Sullivan arrives in Hawkins, convinced that 11 is responsible for the murders. 11 is arrested for assault, but is intercepted by Dr. Owens, who explains the danger Hawkins faces and offers to help her regain her powers. Joyce and Murray travel to Alaska to deliver the ransom for Hopper. Inside the prison camp, Hopper convinces another inmate to break his shackles with a sledgehammer, badly injuring his foot. He briefly escapes but is recaptured. Jason Carver leads a violent hunt for Eddie, blaming him for Chrissy's death. The search leads Jason and his teammate Patrick McKinney to Lover's Lake, where Eddie attempts to escape by boat. Jason and Patrick dive into the water to chase him, While swimming, Patrick suddenly becomes Vecna's next target. He is lifted out of the lake and killed in the same brutal manner as the previous victims, right in front of both Jason and Eddie. Despite witnessing this supernatural event, Jason refuses to accept the truth. Nancy and Robin research Victor Creel and discover he believed a demon was responsible for his family's deaths. Max steals files from the school counselor and realizes that Vecna's victims all suffered from severe trauma. Vecna then begins targeting Max, but she is saved when her friends play her favorite song, breaking his psychic control. Joyce and Murray are betrayed by Yuri Ismailov, but eventually overpower him and force him to take them to Russia. With Murray posing as Yuri, they infiltrate the prison during a staged Demogorgon fight. Hopper, having secretly kept a lighter, uses fire to hold the creature back while Joyce and Murray overpower the guards and unlock the prison doors. Hopper, Antonov, and the remaining prisoners escape, and Joyce and Hopper reunite. Eleven is taken to the Nina Project in Nevada, where she enters a sensory deprivation tank that allows her to recover suppressed memories from Hawkins' lab. She discovers that Henry Creel, also known as Subject 001, is Vecna. As the final battle unfolds, Eddie and Dustin distract a swarm of demobats, with Eddie sacrificing himself to save his friends. In Russia, Hopper returns to the prison and kills the Demogorgon with a sword, weakening Vecna through the shared hive mind. Although 11 prevents Vecna from killing Max permanently, Max briefly dies, allowing Vecna's gates to rip through Hawkins. Jason is killed as the town is torn apart. Vecna escapes badly injured while Max is left in a coma. The season ends with Hawkins shattered, dark clouds rising from the gates and Will sensing that Vecna is still alive as the Upside Down begins to merge with the real world.